I think most people expected Lolcow Live to bring Wings back at some point in time, but even with that said, I don't think people expected it to happen so quickly. And to be fair to them, they do claim that he's only here in a guest capacity, but throughout the conversation, they make it pretty obvious they're very keen to bring Wings back in full force. So much so that they even run a poll to see how the viewers would feel about that. And I think the results of that poll are only going to embolden them to bring Wings back full time. And I'll show you that later. But first, I want to start at more or less the beginning of the stream. The only thing that really happened before this is that Keem does an intro, and then Wings talks a little bit about how he was doing DoorDash while he was away from streaming. But otherwise, this is the beginning of the stream.
Do not.
Super chatted $20. Wings, I hope you're here to stay.
And I've only spent 10% of the Lolcow money. So I have almost every dime of all the checks we've made.
I spent all that too.
Gamers Asylum, welcome for the 5 gifted. Look, you said
D-Train
something.
Hyatt super chatted $19.99. We love wings.
I mean, these guys have to just be raking it in. They get interrupted constantly by $20+ donations. It's absurd.
Bring him back.
You said something that has kind of resonated where you said you don't want to fuck up again after PKA. There's don't know after this reads. I'll explain my point. Thank you to Tufu
super chatted
for the
$64.30.
Yeah. The one other thing Wing said before this was that, like, pretty much the first thing he brought up was how back in 2014, 2015, he had it so rough and he was so poor and he had to start streaming to make money to replace the bald tires on his truck.
34 cents. Lolcow Live scammed Jordy. He's the absolute best part of the show.
But it's impossible. It's impossible. I go out of my way to never fuck up again, and I always fuck up. It's impossible.
I know it's impossible. And like I don't know if you ever noticed, like, I always wanted to keep doing my own shit, and a lot of that's because I know if anybody gets fired, it's going to be me. Because
now, since you off the Lolcow show, maybe Kelly can get some money being Chris Brown's sparring partner. Pokagaga super chatted $19.99.
You better
Wings
wait a minute.
retirement.
Guys, we appreciate all the support. We truly do. But ease up unless it's like a red dono. Then go ahead and interrupt us.
Kyle Seidel super chatted $19.99. Welcome back, pimp.
You should be good now.
I forgot what I was actually saying. Thank you, God, Della. Big ups, Della.
I said something along the lines of, like, it doesn't matter how much you try not to fuck up, you're gonna fuck up.
Oh yeah. That's why I always did my own shit, because like I knew that if out of the three of us, I was the one that's going to get fired at some point. Because like I've always been bullheaded, and I've never been the type of person that would back down to anybody. And I've always said my piece. Like even in my own, even when I worked outside of YouTube, that's one reason I stay on YouTube, because I hate authority 100%. Like I'm the kind of person, like, you can ask me to clean the bathroom, but you never tell me to clean the bathroom, right? Like,
I mean, is there anybody that doesn't really feel that way? I guess maybe Wings is just saying he's further along the spectrum, but nobody likes it being demanded of them to do anything. All right, like, pretty much any boss that does that is going to be hated by their employees.
you ask me to clean the bathroom and it's my turn, 100%, I'll go scrub that motherfucking toilet. But you go clean the bathroom or go home, I'll show you how to fucking go home.
Yeah, you are probably one of the most stubborn people I've ever met. This whole scenario where it all fell apart after, and I've said this a million times, and like for some reason the internet doesn't believe me. When me and you got in our scuffle, we would have resolved that. I know 100% we would have resolved that. It's just all the shit after, right? Where it just escalated it to a whole different thing. But it is what it is. You know, people forget that me and you have been butting heads for 15 fucking years.
Longer than that.
Like 2009, we've been butting heads since then. So
yeah, so was that 16, 17 years ago?
A long fucking time ago. Long fucking time ago. Well, I could stay on this topic, but I want to change topics. Boogie, you tried to destroy Lolcow Live with your fucking eat food stream. What was that garbage?
It was Billy's idea to begin with. I thought it was a good idea as well. So I'll take full responsibility because I'm the one who hosted it.
Yeah, I was going to say, how the fuck are you blaming Billy? Okay, it might be his idea.
Keem was away for the weekend, and Boogie soloed, or not soloed because he was there with Billy the Fridge, but he hosted the stream, and the two of them did a mukbang stream.
Idea, but why? He probably set you up to get in trouble.
I don't think Billy's that type, but I will take full responsibility. I thought it was funny because number one, people wanted wings back on the show, so I was
Halo
going to bring in
super
chicken
chatted
wings.
$19.99. It's so frustrating because as I was so on your side, I don't like the scripting, but when you got physical, your point went out the window.
I feel you. Like again, I'm taking full accountability. I put somebody I love in a situation they never should have been in. Like we have disagreements on what it was, but I never should have got to that point. Like honestly, like what I should have done is when I fucked up with the Becky shit, I should have just apologized. And I see this in hindsight in 2020, but like I was so anxious, and like even like the day, like up to the 0 hour, Boogie and Keem were on the phone with me trying to get me to come on because like I didn't feel like I'm in the right headspace to go
Cletus
Oh,
over this just yet.
super chatted $19.99 to report the
God.
abusive
Close that
dasher.
one. Stop that one.
For
Stop
safety
that one. Stop
concerns.
that one. That's
In the
not.
dasher
Fuck.
app,
La, la,
click
la,
the
la,
help
la, la,
icon.
I don't
La,
have
la,
a
la,
shield.
la, la, la,
In
la,
the
la,
top
la,
right
that's
corner
retarded.
of
You're
The chatter, the super chatter is explaining how to get wings banned from door dashing.
a
Yeah.
retarded person.
Select
Stop being a
chat
retarded
support.
person.
Share your
Stop being a
concern with
retarded
the
person.
support team.
I don't even know where my fucking hub is anymore. I think it got moved on my computer. Bear with me, y'all.
Well, Tennessee donated $5. Did I practice on Kelly for the boxing match? No, but Kelly was my my glove partner.
Yeah,
like, she
you-
would hold the mitts for me and stuff like that. And like I didn't have a man around, so I let Kelly hit me in preparation of taking punches. Because like one of the things when you get into a fight is you got to go ahead and accept you're going to get damaged. You're going to get
Right.
hit.
There have been multiple episodes where Keem gives hosts of the various Lolcow spin-off shows crap for not knowing how to run the show in Discord. And then this is what he's doing 15 minutes into the show.
And I didn't want to go into the fight and find out what getting hit was like, because it's been like high school since I actually got into a fight before I fought Boogie. And like, you don't remember, you forget what it's like to be hit.
You know, he's keeping the side menu up. Come on, Keem, get it together.
And like, you don't remember, you forget what it's like to be hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Don't like it.
As far as the situation goes, I feel like you've talked about it at least 5 different times on the internet. We have talked about it at least 5 different times, right? I don't think there's more that truly can be said, right? Everybody has their opinions on it, and it's all been expressed. And to even go down that rabbit hole again is just not going to be productive, in my opinion.
No, I do have one thing to add, if that's okay.
So they're basically like, yeah, we're done having the conversation about what Wings did. All right, guys, we're ready to move on
The topic, and then you can tear into me about Friday's stream. And I just want to say personally, Jordy, I have gotten very heated here. I've said things and done things that I truly regret. I've tried to be your friend as best I can, and I understand why you wouldn't want that right now, especially with some of the things I've said and done. And I just wanted to apologize to you. I shouldn't let my emotions get the better part of me. And sorry I was such a cock. But I do want to remind you this entire time, I've been a fan of trying to get you back. And I've worked towards that, but I am sorry.
So Boogie's apologizing for anything he might have said to Wings that hurt his feeling. And he's like, and I really am working towards getting you back on the show. I mean, they're not even really trying to hide it at all. They're like, yeah, look, I know we said that Wings was fired from the show, but that was straight up just a drama thing. Like, they're really making no effort to make it seem like, oh, geez, do we really let him back? They did like maybe less than a week of that, and then they're like, okay, yeah, now how do we get it back on the show?
I want to air this out because it's something that needs to be aired out. Like that phone call you guys when we were on the way back home, that hurt my feelings so badly. And I know why it happened, right? And look, I've said it 1,000 times. I said it before. Like I didn't know who grabbed me. I was grabbed from behind.
Full accountability.
I don't have the
Lol,
fucking. I got
you flip flop so much.
For some
wings.
reason, I don't have
You're a
this hub
terrible
to
and
pause
useless
donations.
human being. You forced Kelly to
don't know
stream
where
with
it
you
is on
for
my
damage
computer.
control like you did Aaron. You have crocodile tears only for the money. CYA.
That first off,
just
insane. That's not
disagree
true.
entirely.
I mean, these guys will back me up. I didn't want to come on tonight.
That's
Like,
true.
I wasn't in the right headspace. And these guys are first to tell you, I'm the last one of the 3 here that's motivated by money.
Yeah, I've been watching your streams, and
Yeah, but that's like being the smartest person in a room full of kindergartners.
and I can tell that you have regret, but also on the phone
I,
calls.
I
we've had.
100% have regret, man. Like I never wanted to be what I was painted out to be, and it's like it's such bad optics. It's so bad.
I mean, what does that even mean? I never wanted to be what I was painted out to be. Well, okay. Well, maybe something more along the lines of I wish I hadn't done what I did. But no, it's, I wish people hadn't painted what I did in the way that they did.
Never wanted to be what I was painted out to be, and it's like it's such bad optics. It's so bad. But I love my wife to death. Like Kelly is my better half, and like I hate that I put her in a situation where we were
Six
at.
Foot
And
Dick
like
super chatted $20. To all the people judging Wings, you should take a good look in the mirror and see if you've ever lost your temper. Wings is the best part of the LCU, and he was obviously seeing red. You can't judge a man off the worst moment.
I mean, I think you can judge somebody based off their worst moment, depending on how bad it is, for sure, right? If somebody murders somebody, you're not gonna be like, well, they got really heated. It was a long day at work. They hadn't eaten yet. Like, eventually it gets to a point where somebody's crossed whatever your personal line is, or it's, you know what? I'm fine judging them based off of that. I don't need any more of the details. We can just call it there. Not necessarily saying that this situation is that, but like to say just straight across the board, you can't judge somebody based off their worst moment is kind of dumb, in my opinion.
Seeing red. You can't judge a man off the worst moment.
and like the whole like
Go back to the call that we had when we were leaving Fat
Yeah.
Camp.
and then y'all called me about the Twiggy video, and like you just didn't believe what we were telling you. Like you just
The Twiggy videos when Wings and Kelly were driving in the car, or Kelly was driving, Wings was in the passenger seat, and he slapped her arm off the wheel of the car.
absolutely did not believe it, and I understand why. But that and that next stream hurt my feelings so bad. I'm like, I don't want to work with these guys again.
I understand
don't-
that.
You know, it's like you tore my whole life apart with like the reflection of like maybe 5 hours. And granted, I was a huge part of that, right? It was my actions that caused this conversation to happen. I want to take full accountability for that. And that's one thing. But there's so many other things if you sat back and looked, like, is this
I want to take full accountability for it, but also I want to point the finger at you guys and how you guys handled it. Like, come on, man.
thing? But there's so many other things if you sat back and looked, like, is this really this person, or is this just really bad optics? Because like I said before, like we had one of my ex-girlfriends come on here and she was dying of cancer, and I was mean to her. Like I was cold and I was mean to her. And if I beat women, which I dated her for 2 years, she would have been like, well, you're an abusive piece of shit. But she never did. I've had other women I've dated publicly on YouTube that have trolls,
Well, Wings, what if she knew she'd get it way worse if she said anything, right? I mean, people could be scared into silence.
which she never did. I've had other women I've dated publicly on YouTube that have trolls that fuck with them on a regular. At no point have they ever said that I hit them or abused them.
Control plus Alt plus Della super chatted $19.99. Wings, you are missed by most of the fans, and we support you and Kelly. You three guys are the LCU.
Well,
You can already tell from from these super chatters that most people want Wings back on.
something I had a conversation with Wings before we went live today, and I told Wings, I go, me and Boogie have had multiple conversations about how the dynamic is not right moving forward. It's not right. This whole situation has literally made me sad. And I know I sound like like a little bitch, but it's the truth. It literally just makes me sad. The anger and shit is a short period of time. The sadness of the result of what took place lasts much longer than your fucking little short anger that you might have. And I understand that you feel truly betrayed by us, but when we saw the Twiggy video for the first time, we felt betrayed by you. We were like, whoa, and I understand where you and Kelly are coming from. You're coming from a place of like, hey, you know me. But if you really think about it, we don't. Like, we know you, but we're not living with you, right? Yeah. So when we, the push thing happens and it's like, oh, maybe he was seeing red, right? And then we see this other clip and it all happened within the span of a week, and we're like, whoa, maybe we don't know Wings, and that's kind of, and also we're in a room with Tina and Xylee, who've kind of experienced domestic violence and whatnot. And at that point, groupthink has kind of taken over, and we saw that clip as being way worse because of the context of what happened prior.
Yeah, but I think the sound's what makes that clip.
So all of that basically just to say, you know what, Wings? I think we really overreacted firing you from the show.
As being way worse because of the context of what happened prior.
Yeah, but I think the sound's what makes that clip as bad as it is.
Yeah.
It's like,
You can clearly hear it. It's like,
yeah, but it's a skin on skin. It's like the same thing as it's like a slap, like open hand slap. It doesn't just because skin on skin makes a noise. That's like
Gas
even in the
super
video
chatted
itself, like she
$12
continued to blare the
86
horn and
It was
have a
high
conversation
emotion
with me. She never
situation,
reacted
and I
to it
guess
because it
all
didn't
that was
hurt her.
needed, and that was an apology. But again, everyone needed to cool off.
I mean,
the cool off
look-
period was very, very necessary for sure. I can tell you that much.
It's
One super chat
people
is
say no
$20.
accountability. 100%
Richard be
accountability.
like, here's how I'm the victim of me pushing my wife and trying to choke Keemstar. Bro is a grown-ass man rolling on the floor, laughing, 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 rolling on the floor.
Some people are just too funny. I mean, is there anything funnier than just a spammy text-to-speech dono? Oh, that is the pinnacle of comedy right there.
Laughing, rolling on the floor,
Okay.
laughing, rolling
All
on the
right.
floor.
Skipping this. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, if you do an insane troll like Dono, I'm gonna have to skip it. Right? We're trying to have some like a bit of a productive conversation. I'm not trying to silence anyone, but like if you're doing real trolly stuff like that, like I'm gonna have to.
No, Keem. You were trying to silence him from saying laughing, rolling on the floor a dozen more times. That is suppression of free speech, which I thought you believed in, but apparently not.
Skip it, just so you know.
I have an opinion I'd like to share, if that's okay, Jordy.
Sure.
Insane super chatted $20. Last one to be motivated by $. Lol, all do you all day on stream is beg to make your dono goal. You say all the time you only stream for money. You end the stream once you make the goal. By the way, you're useless and a wife beater.
I never thought you were a wife beater. I did think there's room for improvement in your marriage. There's room for improvement in Keem's relationship. There's room for improvement in every relationship, my relationship. And
As I say, you better not skip specifically naming your relationship, Boogie.
Keem's relationship, there's room for improvement in every relationship, my relationship. And I see you making an effort towards that. And that's the one thing I've said over and over again I wanted. I want to see you and Kelly be happier, better people. And that's all I've ever wanted. I wanted to motivate you to do that, and you're already doing it.
Yeah, but it also shows like how like biased you were at the time. It's like you brought up the story of Niagara Falls, but you left out that I had COVID-19.
I didn't
You
know
left
you had COVID-19 at the time.
You
but
also
yes, you're
left
right,
it-
you were sick.
You also left out that I went to Amish country the next day because I felt bad that
Yeah.
Kelly went to Niagara Falls by herself.
Well, I have apologized, and I'll apologize again. But Keem
like,
was right.
but-
We had this.
But leaving those facts out makes it.
Okay, I don't know the details of the Niagara Falls things, but it sounds like Kelly really wanted to go there with Wings, and Wings did not go. But supposedly it's because Wings had COVID-19, and sounds like Boogie made it out like he abandoned her, gave her no option but to go by herself without mentioning that he was sick. Something like that. I'm not sure exactly.
Well, I have apologized, and I'll apologize again. But Keem
like,
was right.
but-
We had this.
But leaving
we had
those
this-
facts out makes it look so much worse.
You're
You
right.
take all the
But-
context away from it.
and I'm sorry for that. But
Well,
I will say that
I think it's
Keem is right. Okay.
This is what's good about having you here today.
Hey,
Is
super chatted $20. It bet a $100 on Wings in a tables match.
shut up, Hayes.
Mm.
You can give me and Boogie pushback, and we can give you a little pushback to try to find that middle ground, right? Because there is stuff, right, that we're not hearing from each other, right? Like you go and you do these streams and you say these things, and it's just not registering because it's so polar opposite. I can tell you what was going through my mind when I saw the slab video. A million things. Like, oh my God, is this my fault, right? Is the stress of going to fat camp and these guys running on no hunger, right? Did that cause Wings to lose his fucking shit, right? Was that one of the factors? The medication, me and Boogie have been criticized a lot for trying to get you off your medication so you can live life a little bit more like in reality, right? Are we to blame for part of that, right? So it's like,
I think Wings is or was on one of those antidepressants that turns you into like a robot where, yeah, you don't feel as depressed or anxious or whatever it is, but you also kind of don't feel anything. And Boogie and Keem have tried to talk Wings out of staying on those.
Are
I don't know if I've heard before that he was on Lexapro at one point in his life. I don't know if that's what he's still on.
we to blame for part of that, right? So it's like it's very complex. There's so many different factors going into what potentially happened. What are your thoughts on that? The medication and the starving at fat camp, did that play a factor?
This all sounds like excuses. I don't. None of that was factored in when I was doing it. Like, I was anxious, and like, the problem is, like, you hit the wrong trigger with me. Like, there's two things I don't like people to. I don't feel like when somebody's doing me wrong. I don't like that at all.
That's very unique to you, Wings. Most people enjoy being wronged, but you're one of the few who does not like to be wronged.
I don't feel like when somebody's doing me wrong. I don't like that at all. And like that was in my head, and I was pretty much dying on that hill at that point. You see me get that mad before with like the Omni situation and like the John situation, but that was more of a private thing. Whereas like I felt like you were doing me wrong by like going over my head and like unmoderating.
The sound of Kelly's head hitting the table. Who checked her for a concussion? Wings, you covet what you don't have. You put your comfort and feelings above your work team and your wife. You're not accountable. Man up.
I can tell you, Mean Gene, multiple people checked on Kelly, and she did not have a concussion. Like, I can tell you that did happen. But
my lord. First off, I never abuse my wife. I don't hit my wife. Thank you guys for the concern.
I think
You said first of all. Was that all you had though?
First off, I never abuse my wife. I don't hit my wife. Thank you guys for the concern.
I think you were more like right before we decided to do the show, you were like, dude, I'm gonna get hit left and right. And me and Boogie were coming from a place where like, I think the fans kind of want you back. And you kind of knew better than us, because I'm shocked at how much you're getting hit.
Well, it's going. Well, the thing is like, a lot of my trolls have access to me here more so than my personal streams. So you're going to get more people that come here and troll than you would anywhere else on the internet.
I think Wings has like some say in who's banned from the chat on Lolcow, but obviously he can't rule it with an iron fist like he does on his personal stream. And I would think if you I don't know exactly if you can set it up so you can't chat for free, but if you pay, you can get your chat read out loud. Because I think some of the donos go through stuff other than just YouTube. Maybe they're going through Streamlabs or Stream Elements, whatever they're using. So they might be banned from the YouTube live chat, but they can still get their chats read out loud.
So you're going to get more people that come here and troll than you would anywhere else on the internet.
Yeah. There's go ahead.
Which is funny because like Insane, who's donating right now, like he's a guy that used to be really pro me, and he's really mad at me. And I'm thinking in my head, like, how can I win this guy's trust back? Because like that's something I would have never thought about before. Because like one of the realizations I had to while going through anger management, even though people said what I did wasn't good enough, it still gave me enough to self-reflect. And that was like, thousands of people didn't wake up one day and cultivating Discords and Reddits and things like that and have snark communities based off of me just randomly hating me, right? It was through my actions and through my communications with people over the 15 plus years I've been on the internet that created these communities. And I should be held accountable for that. And part of that's because I have issues with anger. Not so much like blinking out red, hitting people anger, which that did happen during the fat camp. And that was a myriad of concoctions that caused that.
Anger,
but more so,
I would say anger, authority, and accountability, right? Because like throughout the years, not this situation, but throughout the years, when you would get hit with something, instead of just being like, I'm guilty, right? There was always like a Wings of Redemption defense attorney defense, right? On every situation that ever came out, right?
You can just see it when he plays Call of Duty. Every time he dies, or Rainbow Six, every time he dies or his team loses, it's everybody else's fault except for his. And when it's more serious stuff, obviously he's going to be even less inclined to take accountability for that. And he's going to want to blame that on other people way more so than losing a round of Rainbow Six or Call of Duty.
Wings of Redemption, defense attorney defense, right? On every situation that ever came out, right? And once you do that and you defend yourself, the people that are mad at you in the first place take it to the next level. They're like, oh, he doesn't want to say sorry, right? It becomes a game to the people online when you don't truly take accountability.
Yeah. And like I'm trying to think about stuff because like I see stuff in chat that's already like irritating me, and I'm trying to like marginalize it and like trying to use the techniques I've been learning. Because like for a long time I realized that like my whole personality was just anger. Like one of the first steps of anger is disrespect. Another step of anger is making fun of people. And like how I build bridges is make fun of people. Like the first thing I did with like when I met Beans was like, oh, you got arm hair. You know what they call girls with arm hair? Mopeds. Because they're fun to ride when your friends aren't watching.
Didn't you also say that you learned frustration was like one of the beginning
A
stages
form of anger. I never associated frustration with anger. Like, I feel more
That's so wild to me. That was in the leaked chat when he was just talking with his friends playing Rainbow Six or whatever. He said that in there, that in anger management, he learned that frustration is a precursor or a form of anger. It's like, what? I mean, I just was under the assumption pretty much everybody thought of frustration as like anger light, right? Is that not what people think of frustration as?
frustrated in anything most of the time I'm on the internet.
I'm going to let the donos roll. We're about 10 behind, so I'm
Hey,
just going to let them
super
roll.
chatted $20. Wings needs a blue chew, not a SSRI.
I ain't gonna lie, I tried that Cialis that Mike gave me. That shit's pretty good.
You know, I wish you could just joke about this situation.
Trident super chatted $25.74. Jordy, a real man moves his wife's hand away from the horn on the car he doesn't slap.
That was actually my goal, to move her hand away from the horn. Like, did I do it a little too aggressively?
Lovely super
100%.
chatted $19.99.
That is true. You were slapping her
Don't
hand
worry,
down.
Wings, we are all with you. Nobody actually cares how many tables you send Kelly through. Happens to my lady every time she gets out of line too. Real talk. Next time Kelly shouldn't get in the way of Big Pump. The Great Pidgey super chatted $19.99. Wings is a good dude, and it seems like he's taking this seriously and doing his best to make everything right. I hope he's back for good green heart.
You know, with the fact of no one being seriously hurt.
Insane super chatted $20. By the way, Wings, you useless ass pimp. Now that the wife beater is gone, Keem, you can get rid of all words Wings banned like useless and wife beater. 100% bitch in your blood. Wings of excuses. You never change, Wings. Useless. The Origin Bean super chatted
those are lies,
$20.
insane.
Wings is still in denial. He can't be brought back in good faith because he obviously hasn't learned his lesson. It's like the NFL. Tape don't lie.
I didn't notice if he was doing it earlier, but just look at how much Wings' screen is shaking here because he's nervously going up and down with his knee. He's just a nervous tick. I think a decent number of people have that, but he is just always doing it. He's so quick to slip into that. It's a very obvious tell.
Good faith because he obviously hasn't learned his lesson. It's like the NFL. Tape don't lie.
The tape doesn't lie. If you go watch the tape, you'll see that by the time I was pushing somebody, I wasn't even looking at them.
Yeah.
Like, far as I know, it could have been Mike or 6'5", 250-pound Ken. I was just pushing to get somebody, and I even said, "Get off me." And by the time I realized what happened, I instantly snapped out of it because I realized I had pushed Kelly. And at that point, like, you had other people jumping in, screaming at me, and I was just confused. Like, you can see it on my face.
I was so
confused.
afraid when I seen Wings push Kelly that I called my dad and cried to him and.
I mean, it could have been confusion that it was on his face. It also could have been, oh shoot, did I just do that on live stream too? You know, it's hard to say exactly what it was, but I could see it being either of those.
Like, you can see it on my face.
I was so
confused.
afraid when I seen Wings push Kelly that I called my dad and cried to him and told him what was going on because my PTSD flared up. I was scared to death. It felt like a rock on my chest. How can I make it thumbs up?
I wish in the end you'd hit me Because you and I could have worked that out, no problem.
Well, even the
See,
shit,
you hit me about 30 times before.
even the shit with
No.
me, like even like it was like what?
Is that supposed to be a defense, Boogie? Oh, Wings, I wish you would have just hit me, because you've already done that 30 times before. There wouldn't have been a big deal. And it's like, I mean, sure, it would have been better if he'd done that than table slamming Kelly, but I don't know if that's such a great defense of your supposed friend, Boogie, to say, you've hit me 30 times already.
I wish in the end you'd hit me. Because you and I could have worked that out, no problem.
Well, even the
See,
shit,
you hit me about 30 times before.
even the shit with
No.
me, like even like it was like what 5 minutes later. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that, you know. As long as
Well,
he
I
can calm down.
I never plan on hitting anybody. Like
Yeah.
like if I were to hit Keem, I could have.
$20.
Yeah.
Wings, what got me upset is you saying it's not DV if it doesn't leave a bruise.
And likewise, I feel like I'm
And that's his response, that he just rolls his eyes to Super Chatter saying, Wings, the messed up thing that I think you did is saying it's not domestic violence if it doesn't leave a bruise.
If it doesn't leave a bruise.
and
And he just doesn't take that seriously at all. So do you stand by that, Wings? That's the impression I get from your reaction there.
likewise, I feel like I maintained my control pretty fucking good. Not to pat myself on the back, but
I think you did. Because I was confused at how you
Oh yeah, boss, you did such a good job keeping your cool. My goodness. Boogie is just way, way too affirming of Keem in all of these streams, but this is a particularly bad one.
on the back, but
I think you did. Because I was confused at how you managed to do that. But then at some point you told me like you had to because you're the boss.
I remember
yeah,
just
you
looking
go.
in Wings' eyes, like, are you for real? Are we really like, I was like trying to like understand, are we about to fight? Because I was confused. I was so off guard.
Like I was just
Josh
standing there
Liv
formulating
Super
like
chatted $19.99. Just don't take the comments to heart if are not a wife
I'll
beater
pause
then
it
or
after this
fine
50
done.
so we can
T-Red
talk.
comments get to her heart. Wings, just be better and do better. Nobody knows Wings like Wings.
We'll let Cynthia go and then I'll pause the text.
That's a
speech real
really
quick.
good comment.
Cynthia Breyer super chatted $50. I forgive Wings. We all live in glass houses.
Okay. Well, Cynthia forgives Wings, so I think we should be good to have him back on then.
All right, TTS is paused for the moment. But
But let me address that. Let me address that comment if it's okay, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
They said that nobody knows Jordy better than Jordy, right? And like obviously Kelly knows you really well. And at the end of the day, fuck if you guys know what's going on in that house. I can never know. They can never know. But you know. So somebody says you're something you're not. Who cares? You know you're not. So
because
who cares? Fuck 'em.
because public opinion, and they'll use it, they'll weaponize it.
Yeah. Well, we're here to help with that. You know, potentially.
Because like look at it this way. Like even if you don't see what happens behind the walls, right? I didn't marry Kelly right away. I knew Kelly for 6 years before we got married. If I was beating her ass every day and like pushing her through tables and shit like that, you think she would have married me?
He knew Kelly for 6 years. They were not dating for most of that 6 years, as far as I'm aware. They didn't date very long at all. They just knew of each other. The impression I got was that they were kind of friends of friends, but they never hung out all that much or whatever. So, I mean, sure, that might be the case, but how long have you guys actually lived together?
If I was beating her ass every day and like pushing her through tables and shit like that, you think she would have married me
That's true.
against her parents' wishes? Because at the time I had trolls trying to break our marriage up.
I'm gonna play this one
I
real
would-
quick.
YouTube is censoring my comments. Super chatted $20. 1. Wings, you need to go back and watch the tape because you aren't retelling what we all saw on film. 2. Boogie is way more evil than Wings. Wings shot a gun in a school zone cause someone knocked on his door. Boogie is evil.
I think part of the problem is when you are in a fight or a physical altercation, how you remember that in your mind and everything that happened. Because what happens is your adrenaline starts running and everything's real slowed down. How you remember every little step of that normally is not the same as what happens like on the film if it's being recorded. Like you memorize it wrong, and they'll even, hey, something's going.
I was like, oh my goodness, look how hard it's going. Wings, this leg is really jiggling, but it went to catastrophic degree, it looks like.
If it's being recorded, like you memorize it wrong, and they'll even, hey, something's going on with your computer or your camera. What the fuck? Are you dealing with an earthquake right now? That was crazy.
No, I'm anxious.
Oh, so you're shaking your knee or whatever?
Yeah.
I'll play this one real quick.
Akai Knight super chatted $20. It was clear from the video that Wings pushing Kelly was completely accidental. Fight me on it.
I wouldn't say
Yeah, but-
accidental.
It 100% was accidental.
but
Because, like, do you think I came out of that game room planning to powerbomb my wife through a fucking table?
No, I wouldn't say accidental. What I would say is whoever was in front of you, you were pushing. And I don't think you knew Kelly was in front of you.
Right. Because honestly, the only person I realized that grabbed me was Ken. Because Ken, like, because I had to push through Ken, and he, like, grabbed me around the midsection. And, like, I was trying to push through, and my left leg got kind of tangled up in his leg or whatever it might be. And I just, like, I felt somebody grab me on the arm because Ken let go at some point. And I felt somebody grab me on the arm or had my arm, and I just pushed him. And it was like, I'm like, get off me. And it's like, it was Kelly. It was like, and that's when I stopped right then and there.
Yeah, I mean, he says that, but she was in front of him, like, the whole time. I find it hard to believe that he just had no awareness that was Kelly. I would think it's closer to something along the lines of he didn't realize how much force he was pushing her, or, that the table was right behind her, and, would make her fall over more easily than if she had space to just back up or whatever. I don't really believe that he was just pushing whoever he thought was in front of him, and he didn't know who that was.
He was like, and that's when I stopped right then and there. And, like, yeah. And I said, like, why'd you get in front of me? Or, like, I told you not to get in front of me, or whatever it might be. And that was from, like, the Keemstar fight. Because, like, if you go back and watch the tape, like, she gets in front of me in the Keemstar fight as well. And I'm telling her, hey, yo, don't get in front of me. Don't do this. Don't do this. Stop doing this. And she wouldn't listen then. And that's not trying to say, like, she should listen to me. But it's like, I didn't want to hurt her by her jumping in front of, like, a physical altercation between men.
Have you and Kelly, like, had a conversation about it privately where you, like, apologized?
100%. Like, you don't think like the fucking 18 hours on the road we didn't talk about it?
Can you talk us through that? Because I think it would make, like, it would be so much better, right, for the audience to know kind of like what that conversation was like.
Well, initially when we got back to the cabin, I ended up blaming her a little bit because I was still mad and, like, shell shocked from.
So Keem asked, so did you have a conversation where you apologized to her? And then this is what he says.
What that conversation was like.
Well, initially when we got back to the cabin, I ended up blaming her a little bit because I was still.
Okay. So, I mean, if that's the first thing you do is you blame her, your apology means a lot less, right? Like, it took, not only did it take you a while to get to the point of saying sorry, but your initial impulse was to blame her for being pushed by you.
Still mad and, like, shell shocked from everything that had happened. And, like, I sat probably in the recliner 10 minutes. By the time I got out the recliner, I'd realized it was my fault. Like, she was doing nothing but try to protect me, and I was the one that put her in a situation where it happened. And I can't blame her.
Okay. And then, so was this after the drive? He said it was like an 18-hour drive. So it took him an 18-hour drive plus 10 minutes of sitting in the recliner to realize, oh, you know what? That might have been my fault.
But try to protect me, and I was the one that put her in a situation where it happened. And I can't blame her for her actions. I only can blame me for my actions. And I apologized to her. And then I also apologize for the next 2 days that's going to happen because I'm going to be spaced out and I'm going to be in my own world, and it's going to feel like she's dealing with a glass wall. And, like, that was the conversation there. She'd have to give you more insight because those next 2 days were a blur. Like, a lot of it was just me driving down the road, living in my head, like, reliving it over and over again. Because, like, I mean, Gino did me dirty here.
So distracted driving. You just, for 2 days, went around and did some distracted driving.
Like, reliving it over and over again. Because, like, I mean, Gino did me dirty here. But, like, I remember going into the Discord.
Gino is the guy who runs the Drama Alert Twitter account, and he probably does some other administrative stuff too, but that's mostly what Wings is mad at Gino for, is how he reported the story on the Drama Alert account.
And say, like, I knocked her over with, like, 4 momentum or some shit like that. Because in my head, I hadn't seen the video yet, right?
Yeah.
In my head, that's what happened. Like, I was kind of pushing through Ken, and, like, the 4 momentum kind of pushed her over. But, like, after seeing the video, I'm like, nah, I fucking pushed her. And because, like, in my head, I didn't push her at all. Like when you're reliving it in the moment, and, like, Gino kind of just left out the part, like, 2 minutes later when somebody showed me the video, like, oh yeah, I fucking pushed her. And, like I just said, like, everybody painted the narrative as bad as humanly possible, and that hurt my feelings.
Somebody, let me just play these because we're behind on super chats, and I'll address this one person that said
Reese
was
super
scared.
chatted $25.74. Keem didn't handle it well. He was scared.
I can tell you for a fact, when Wings was pushing me, I wasn't scared. My adrenaline was running. I was in fight mode, right? Like, which is kind of like fear. Like when you have your adrenaline running, there is a part of fear there, right? But the moment that I remember true fear and like actually being scared is when the stuff with Kelly happened and you plowed through. Because now I'm thinking like, oh my God, this has escalated into this. What's going to happen next? Like, does Wings have a weapon in the car or whatever? I'm just being honest. Like, this is where my mind was going. I was like, he's lost it. He's out of control. Like, you know, if Boogie would have got pushed or anyone else would have got pushed, it would have been like, okay, you know, he's a hothead and, you know, he needs to calm down. But when Kelly got pushed, it was like, oh wait, he may have lost his mind. You know, that caused me to have true fear of like, oh my, I don't know what's going to happen next.
The worst part about all this, I wasn't even coming over to hit anybody. I was coming over to yell at Boogie.
Yeah.
So
Because like I don't like Boogie. You've never actually stated this, but I'm sure you'll remember this because John was standing right behind you, and John goes, "What are you going to do hitting people for?" I'm like, I don't remember trying to hit anybody. You remember me saying that, Boogie?
Yeah, I think so.
what was going on in your mind when we were in
I think so. Whatever we need to say to get you back on Wings, right?
You remember me saying that, Boogie?
Yeah, I think so.
What was going on in your mind when we were in the pushing match? I'm curious because for me it was like, are we really? We're about to fight? Like, what is like? I was confused.
What ended up happening was I was really livid, and then like you got mad at me for yelling, and the first thought I actually had was like, why is he getting mad at me for yelling? Boogie yells at him all the fucking time. And then like you stood up and my belly like bumped you, and you put your arm out to like get distance from me.
Well,
In my head, instantly I registered it as a push.
the first thing I remember is you pushing me, and then I was like, oh shit, we is this for real? We're about to fight. So then I wanted to have distance, so I put my hand on your throat, right, to get distance. And the whole time I'm being pushed back because, again, and I've said this a million times, it's just true. When Wings is moving forward, he's moving forward. There's no stopping it.
I mean, I'm a fat pile of shit, but I'm athletic, so I got a lot of muscle under me.
Granted,
It's not even really a matter of having a lot of muscle, right? Force is equal to mass times acceleration, and you have a large mass, Wings. So it only takes a little bit of acceleration for your body to cause a lot of force.
stop it.
I mean, I'm a fat pile of shit, but I'm athletic, so I got a lot of muscle under me.
Granted, I had Crocs on. I don't know if that's an excuse or not, but I was just doing this, bro. I was fucking moonwalking.
Well, another pro tip: if you want to get in a fight, Keemstar, don't tell somebody you're about to hit them, and don't like show them the hand you want to hit them with.
Well, I mean, I was trying to get you to stop. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
because like in my
Wings should definitely be giving people street fight advice. He seems like he knows his way around a street fight. And also, to be fair, Keem said that he didn't want to fight, more or less, right? He's like, "Oh, are we gonna have to do this or whatever?" He said exactly. Like, I don't think if anybody in that situation was looking to fight, I don't think it was Keem. It seemed pretty obviously that that would have been you in that situation, Wings.
well, I mean, I was trying to get you to stop. I was like,
yeah,
I'm
because like in my head, I'm like, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him, but he's gonna hit me with a right hook. I'm gonna block the right hook.
well, in my head, I was like, I don't want to fight him, but I'm about to give him a right hook if he doesn't stop pushing me. So I was just verbal about it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. I felt kind of, when you get in a scuffle like that with another guy and things calm down, there's almost like a joy you get from it, right? So I was completely fine. All right. I was like, whoa, that's crazy, right? You know,
Well, you had adrenaline shakes. Did you not have the adrenaline shakes?
I think I did for sure. I had to.
I 100% had the adrenaline shakes.
Yeah.
And like I think that's what escalated a lot of it too. Is like when I went back in the house to kind of calm down, like you had a couple people like just harping, like get the fuck out the house, blah 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 blah. Like just let me calm down. Let me sit here for a minute.
I went in there like probably 5 minutes after it happened. And again, I could be completely wrong on the time because time gets blurry, right? I went in and I was like, look, Wings, you need to go to your cabin. All right. You just need to be away from the situation and calm down. Right. And then you started popping off at me in the house. And I'm like, I just left. I was like, nah, I'm getting out of here. Right. He's still hot. And yeah.
And that's when I went and got my clippers because like I'm like fuck it, I just got fired. So I went to grab my clippers and everything because we'd used the clippers to cut Becky's hair the day before because everybody was obsessed with this fucking clippers that case. Absolutely obsessed with it. Matter of fact, let me go get it. I want to show people it.
I'm going to play text to speech while we're
Josh Liv
waiting. We're
Official
so
super
far
chatted
behind on text to speech.
$19.99. Play the clip Tears of Joy handshake medium light skin tone.
Nah, we don't need to see the clip again.
I didn't realize it says the skin tone of the handshakes in the super chat.
We're trying to we're talking, all right? This is like Dr. Phil moment right now. Chill out, guys.
Whaley super chatted $19.99. You better stop wings. You better stop.
It's just a set of clipper case. Everybody's swarping down as a pistol case. Like I'm going to keep a pistol in the case to go out there and confront somebody.
Snaggletooth super chatted $19.99. Wings for you to be forgiven. You need to allow a man in Kelly's fam to hospitalize you. Also own up and say pushing her and slapping her arm was wrong. Not just an open hand slap like that's okay. No excuses. How'd I lift super chatted $20. Why did you make me do this, Kelly? Think, Kelly. Think.
No, that's a invincible reference.
There's so many fucking donuts we're behind on. I thought we were caught up, but I guess not.
Slurple Blurple super chatted $20. Wings the slayer of wives and devourer of Wendy's chili. Bring him back.
There's like 3 more.
That can't be the last one because Insane's the last one.
Yeah, there's like 3 more.
Waffles super chatted $20. All 3 of you need mental help. This is disgusting behavior overall.
Oh yeah, Waffles. I don't know how you could watch Lolcow and think, oh, these are a bunch of really solid moral people, right? I mean, the whole appeal of Lolcow Live is that it's like a trash fire with people who don't have their lives together.
Then this is the last one, and then I'll pause it again so we can talk.
Insane super chatted $20. The golden age of troll channels is upon us. We're back to the low energy 2-hour streams where you really gotta make that money. Always gonna be in mama's trailer that you own 25% of. Forever useless. Crocodile tears. Fatty super chatted. Dust Bucket super chatted $20. Bring wings back. Becky fought people and she's still here. This is Lolcow Live, not people on Good Behavior Live. The 3 of you make Lolcow Live complete.
I'm gonna pause that real quick. What do you think about that? Did you think it was unfair that Becky was still here?
100%. I even made that when you walked in the house. I made that judgment because you said you got to leave, and I go, if I got to leave, Becky and Roxy's got to leave too. You said that, and you thought about it. And it was like, that's fair.
I thought about it, and it was.
I think they might explain it a little bit here, but I already forgot what the other girl's name. Becky and the other girl. I think the other girl threw something of Becky's into a pond or whatever. Then Becky threw something of hers into the pond, and then they got into a little tussle. Sounds like Becky started the physicality of it. But I don't know exactly what happened. I don't keep up with this show entirely. I really only follow it because I've followed Wings for a while.
You said that, and you thought about it. And it was like, that's fair.
I thought about it, and it was fair, but I didn't think that Roxy should go home because she didn't start the physical altercation.
Yeah, but she's the one who threw the jacket into the water. That is a physical altercation. Like,
yeah,
she started the fight.
We kind of
But then
created
also-
this environment where we all just like goof off. Like it's meant. I don't think it was meant to be. Hey, I'm trying to ruin your life.
There's
I think it's
goofing
meant
off, and there's like throwing people's medicine into the fucking lake.
Yeah, it was medicine. That you go home for that, right?
Because that's what Becky did. She threw her medicine in the lake because Roxy threw her coat in the lake.
Yeah. Well, Becky went home, right?
But then also Kelly.
Okay, so Roxy. Or wait, which order did it go in?
Hey, I'm trying to ruin your life.
There's
I think it's
goofing
meant
off, and there's like throwing people's medicine into the fucking lake.
Yeah, it was medicine. That you go home for that, right?
Because that's what Becky did. She threw her medicine in the lake because Roxy threw her coat in the lake.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so Roxy threw Becky's coat first, and then Becky threw Roxy's medicine into the lake.
Becky went home, right?
But then also Kelly truly was to blame for the stealing. And granted, I gave it to her, right? But I guess I really didn't know the context. Like, I'm thinking, okay, Kelly left her hoodie over here. I give her the hoodie, and then it's Becky's hoodie, and I'm like, oh, it's just a bit.
I had to deal with that hoodie thing for so fucking long. I was sick of it. Like, you think you heard enough about this hoodie. That's all she talked about at the cabin. There was like 8 hours of it. I'm not giving her back. Keem's going to fucking curtail to her. I'm not giving this hoodie back. This is my hoodie, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, just give her the hoodie back.
Yeah.
It's a shirt. It's nothing. Like, this doesn't have to be. I even told her, like, don't get into a fight and get us kicked out of fat camp. On the day I got into a fight and got kicked out of camp.
Also, I'm pretty sure it's a zip-up hoodie, which no adult needs to be wearing. A zip-up hoodie is like a child's clothing, all right? A hoodie overall is kind of child's clothing, but especially the zip-up hoodie.
She's right there.
I mean, that's what the autistic kid wears is the zip-up hoodie.
I not tell you that? Because she wanted to fight Becky.
Oh, I know.
Becky kept saying she could beat me.
My logic, while we're paused on TTS, and I'll unpause it soon, my logic was like, look, Becky and Roxy got in a fight, but nobody got hurt. You know, nobody got like seriously like hit or anything. And when it's two girls fighting, it can easily be broken up, right? When guys are fighting, oh, that's a whole different story. Someone could fucking die, you know? And then the fact that it turned out to be a guy, hurting a girl, to me, that is just like so fucking different. Not even in the same fucking realm of two girls fighting or two guys fighting, you know?
Call it a cat fight for a reason.
Now, I granted, like, I really truly believe you didn't know who you were pushing. You were pushing anyone that was in front of you. But still, that was kind of the line where I was like, well, no, that's not true. I don't know why I'm even making this point, because both of you had to leave because of the physical altercation. But then me and you got into a fight on the phone when we were leaving Fat Camp, where you were like, just pay me out. So that's how it came to the point where, like, okay, this is done and over with.
Yeah, because I felt like I didn't even want to work with it. I felt completely disrespected the way you guys handled that second stream.
Well,
And like Kelly felt disrespected because you guys basically called her a liar.
do you understand how, like, we also got disrespected just from the whole thing happening in the first place?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
there's so
And
much
like I said,
time and effort.
I'll take accountability for like the push in the whole thing. Like I said, I was in the wrong on the whole fight thing. I never said you were in the wrong or anything. Like, you never see me go like, I should, I pushed Keem and I should have pushed Keem. No, like, you never should take it to violence.
No, I'm just saying.
And I even said, like, mine and your altercation was me being hot and instantly thinking of something more than it actually was.
You text me. Do you remember you text me and you apologized and I instantly forgave you?
Right. And
Yeah.
that was like 25, 30 minutes after the fact.
Yeah.
And it's because I felt like I did you wrong.
You did do me wrong, but the
Right.
whole incident as a whole was extreme disrespect to everything I've been working for. You know, for the show, for Fat Camp. It was.
That's a whole nother can of worms.
I understand that you were disrespected, right? And you felt that way. But good Lord, did I feel like all my hours and hours and hours and money, fronting this thing was just thrown into jeopardy like that,
That's, like I said, that's a whole nother conversation, and that's probably one that we might not want to ever have.
Yeah, look, I'm down to talk about how you guys disrespected and wronged me, but if you want to talk about how I disrespected your show by, getting violent on it, potentially risking our ability to stream on YouTube, that's a whole nother can of worms. We don't really need to be talking about that here, or maybe ever. Like, what?
Like, because to me, I looked at Fat Camp as like, we did all these days in a row, back to back to back to back, all this e-begging and all this other stuff to help fund this, to help like build this thing up. And then it's like our audio was shit the entire time. Like the between day 3, I'd already seen like people were giving up on Fat Camp, and I kept coming to you like, yo, we need to transition this to something else. This needs to be more fun. And like, we just kept holding on to Fat Camp. Like, this is what it is. And it's like nobody cares about me, Boogie, and fucking Mike working out.
I mean,
we're always going to have those disputes, right? But one thing that bothered me is you said, "Let me tell you the $32,000 mistake you made. We could have waited a month and did this at Lord Rush's."
100%.
And at the time, I didn't respond. But then I started thinking about that, days later, and I was like, Lord Rush don't got no place for us to stay. It's like, we still would have to get hotel rooms, and it would still turn out to be the same cost. There's land to do the shoots, but there's no housing. We'd have to stay somewhere.
We could. There's all kinds of variables with that. Like, we could have tailored it back. I felt like there were too many people there to begin with.
I agree, but
I agree with that too.
saying one thing, and then actually doing it and experiencing it, and then learning from what went wrong, way different and way more valuable, right? I've learned so many lessons at Fat Camp, like so many.
One of the lessons I hope we learned is that we should never do anything more than a week.
I think you're right on that. I actually do think you're right on that. And if it is,
Like,
and if it
I
is,
feel like everybody, like even after I left,
Yeah, I mean, that seems like it was probably a fair point. Spending a month together with all of the people who are a part of the Lolcow universe sounds like pure torture. Like, that's crazy that they, at any point, thought that that was a solid idea. Like, why would you want to be surrounded by essentially trailer trash for that long? Like, you could just move into a trailer park if that's what you wanted to do.
Fat Camp, everybody was on edge the entire time. Like everybody was just sick of each other. And then you add alcohol to the mix, which I don't drink personally, but like it's just a bad time waiting to happen.
Boogie, you haven't talked that much.
Yeah, I'm trying to not derail it because I feel like this conversation is mostly between you two. What I will say is my motivation here is pretty clear from the very beginning. I said two things. Number one, I want to stay loyal to a friend who's been loyal to me. And like Jordy said, he took this show in part to help save my fucking house, and we did. And I don't want Jordy to have to go through any financial hardship because he walked away from the show. And secondly, I do think the three of us working together can continue to help Jordy work towards a better life for him and Callie in every possible way. And I think Jordy's on that path, and I want to help encourage that. So I'm mostly just listening.
I mean, again, here Boogie is just saying, yeah, I mean, my goal is to get Wings back on the show. That's how this reads to me.
Like Jordy said, he took this show in part to help save my fucking house, and we did. And I don't want Jordy to have to go through any financial hardship because he walked away from the show. And secondly, I do think the three of us working together can continue to help Jordy work towards a better life for him and Callie in every possible way. And I think Jordy's on that path, and I want to help encourage that. So I'm mostly just listening, because I think we're on the right path.
I'm gonna get.
Yeah, so don't want Wings to suffer any hardships because he had to walk away from Lolcow Live. That would be the bad path. And I think we're on the good path, the path where we already have Wings back on as a guest.
Caught up on TTS and I have to pee. Sorry, gentlemen.
So call that there. That's pretty much all there is to get from their conversation. They have that Gino guy on who runs the Drama Alert Twitter, and he talks, and then they also talk to some random fans that call in and stuff, and Billy the Fridge is there for a little bit too. But here's the poll results when Keem asks, how would you guys feel about having Wings back on as a host?
So as of right now with the poll, thoughts on Wings, 22% will never forgive him. 33% or 34%, excuse me, will forgive him if he takes accountability. And 44% don't give a fuck.
So 78% of people are down to have Wings back on as a host. 34% of those people need Wings to take accountability before that happens. But there's only 22% of people who are saying, no, we don't want Wings back on as a host. So, I mean, that's enough for these guys. Wings is absolutely going to be back on as a host here. And then this is the one other interesting thing that they did in this stream. This is supposed to be Kelly's revenge to make her even with Wings for table slamming her.
Our health insurance is paid up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's going. It's going. There's no way he lays on this.
Not gonna hold
Oh,
both of us.
It's not going to. It's going to break.
That's
Lay
what-
quick. Lay quick.
Oh,
Lay quick.
I'm going to get hurt.
Lay quick.
Go quick.
Lay flat. Ice. You're on ice. Don't put all your weight in one spot. Lay. Oh, God.
Sorry, woman.
Lay.
Go
Lay-
quick.
Lay down.
Quick.
Lay. Spread the weight
Distribute
out.
the weight. Distribute the
Distribute the
weight.
weight.
Already failing.
Distribute the weight.
Go.
Hurry, you got.
He really should be listening to them. He's putting all of his weight like at the center of the table where it folds. Or actually, I don't know. Maybe that table doesn't fold. That might be one solid thing. But where there's no supports, the supports are on each end, and he's putting all of his weight in the middle there, not spreading it out at all.
Got this. Hurry.
Distribute the weight.
Oh, Lord.
Too back.
Oh
Oh,
God.
God.
Oh God. Distribute the weight. There you go. Oh,
Oh,
God.
God.
Oh no.
All right, it's holding.
Oh God.
It's holding.
Oh God.
Why am I so nervous to do this? Because I know I'm about to hurt you?
Possibly.
Oh God.
I went through one of those tables. It was fine.
I hate this so much.
Whoa! Oh my God. One more time. One more time. Oh!
I mean, honest, I'm pretty impressed by that table. That looks like the sorts of tables they have in the basement of the church or the community center or whatever. And it held up pretty good.
They happy now?
Oh, that's the Jordan family mating ritual.
You know?
What is the mating call?
Dude, if I'm Kelly though, I'm pissed off. She got the steel table. Wings got the plastic one.
You're right.
Help me off. You know, you're just going to lay here the rest of the show and put your headset? Here.
Okay, Wings, the chat is pretty pissed off. They said Kelly got the steel table and you got the plastic one.
Hers was aluminum.
Better? We good now?
Hers was aluminum. I honestly, I thought that it was going to break from me just sitting on it. And then she jumped on it and it held. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right?
All right, well, okay, now that you're in that spot, I feel like she needs to jump on you one more time. Because the camera angle's perfect. She's got to hit you with that elbow drop, that Macho Man elbow drop.
Move it away from just a little bit. So I'm like under the desk.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
there you go. She got it.
All right, Kelly.
Have her get up on that arm on the left-hand side, the far
Tamajam
one.
super chatted $20. Wings, where did you get that table?
Yeah.
That's
We're
got
gonna
to be
need
the
you to,
strongest
Walmart
table in the
drop me.
world.
Like you do this, and then you come off and hit me with the elbow.
Yep, right on the tummy. Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Come on, just don't jump on Bailey. Like,
Dude, you
We're
guys
putting
and
the-
your
putting
little
the dog up.
dogs.
That's exactly what I was just going to comment on. They all have the tiniest little dogs.
Fucking
Little-
little dog.
The best dogs. They're like cats, but they're dogs.
By the way, I gave Skipper a haircut, and Skipper looks so weird.
How do I do this?
Show us.
Come up on
I want to
this.
see that.
Jump on you again?
yeah.
From the far
Do
side.
it!
From the far side.
So this is supposed to be how Kelly gets even with Wings for him table slamming her. But you can tell she's reluctant to do this anyway, even though this is supposed to be making them even.
Wings the other one. That way she can hit you with an angle. Oh God, this is gonna be bad. Elbow drop.
Do it with
Right
your
in the
arm.
belly.
Yeah, that one.
So I just come down and jump like this?
You want to basically splash with the elbow drop.
So I just jump down with my elbow?
Yep.
I'm sorry in advance.
That was so weak.
Well, she has to.
Okay, so there you go. All of Wings' sins have been erased. Kelly jumped on him, slammed him through the table. Now he's cleansed. He's been cleansed, and he can be brought back on. The fans have basically okayed it. I think it was 78% of them said they're fine to bring Wings back on, and less than half of those people even cared if Wings took any accountability. 44%, I think it was, of people said, "Nah, I don't care. You can just bring him back on no matter what." So, yeah. I think we all knew that this was where it was going to go, but this is all the confirmation you could ever need.